The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello, this is TVWAN News. I'm Carol Kidu Jr.
And I'm Tracy Pat. Join me later for all the sporting details.
In this edition, PNG operators raise harassment allegations against police, festival kicks off with heritage performances, and women's CRU gains momentum.
Sir Bob Dadai, Governor-General of Papua New Guinea, has officially executed a contract on behalf of the state for the supply of communication accessories essential for the 2024 National Population Census. Scheduled for mid-June 2024, the National Census will utilize Android tablets and accessories, enhancing data collection with current technology. This initiative aligns with the government's vision of modernizing national events. The contract, valued at over 17 million kina, is fully funded by the national government. The National Statistics Office expects to release preliminary population data by September 2024. Max Enterprise Limited secured the contract to supply the necessary technology, with representatives Ashok Pandey and Ashutosh Sinj alongside National Statistician John Igitoy signing the agreement at Government House this morning. PNG operators and affected communities of Central and Kerma Province met with the police and road traffic authorities today in Port Moresby to discuss strategies on how best they can work together to address the ongoing issue of police harassment.
With the ongoing issue of police harassment against PNG drivers and the travelling public of Central and Gulf provinces, a significant meeting was held today in Port Moresby to address this issue. Key representatives from police, road traffic authorities, PNG drivers, PNG owners and affected communities communed to hear from the authorities, raise their concerns and look at strategies that can best address this issue. The Central Province Transport Authority Director David Jaram said PNG drivers and commuters who frequent the Iritano and Magi Highway raised many allegations against highway police patrol. Jaram provided two strategies that can help address this issue. First is for the PNG operators to create a committee that can act on behalf of the PNG operators to address these issues affecting their daily operations. The second is for police to implement a 5-year strategy plan to change the members of the force.
The Magi Highway, come up with your own associations that can carry that voice that you might have. Others, please make plans to make sure that your line officers on the ground are also in a 5-year do some reshuffling.
Acting Central Police Station Commander Chief Sergeant Ken Hamanda said the continuous allegations against police for harassment, including taking money from travelers without proper process and paperwork. Hamanda said at this point no proper arrest can be made against any police officer allegedly involved because there is no evidence. He said PNG drivers do not lay a formal complaint with police.
There is anything that is not good happening outside of our work ethics. Until now, we hear of those allegations, but we don't have any proof of those allegations.
He said this issue will only be addressed if and when evidence is provided to the police hierarchy.
Until such time when later when you people come up with something in black and white regarding those allegations, then we don't tolerate such behaviors and we'll deal with those policemen decisively.
The owners, Gepsi John and Lau Akina, said they face police harassment almost every day. They said police accused them of overloading and charged them for ridiculous amount of money without issuing any proper receipt. This affects business for them.
Overloading and charging is the usual thing that we normally face, or every day.
That is Iritano Highway, because I'm from Iritano. And the second we face coming into Port Moresby to sell the goods from the else markets like 6 Mile and Anobara. But then when coming that way, the NCD police are coming in strongly with guns and all this, forcing the PMCs to go where they want them to go, which is not right.
Tracy Pa, TV1 News.
Meanwhile, David Jerram urges PMV operators and the traveling public to understand the rules and regulations of road traffic when traveling the highways. Jerram said it will enable them to file a proper complaint against police for any harassment incidents.
We also have our own responsibilities and duties to the use of the traffic. There are laws that we must be guided by. And there are also laws that are also in the effect, like for example, Bill Nut. Those enabling or those prevailing laws must also be taken note of. So when police are conducting roadblocks, there are some of those issues they will highlight and they will charge you on.
FestPac 2024 has officially kicked off with a spectacular display of heritage dance performances bringing the vibrant cultures of the Pacific Islands to life. This year's Festival of Pacific Arts and Culture is dedicated to celebrating the rich traditions and contemporary expressions of the Pacific, inviting audiences worldwide to join the festivities through live streams on social media and TV stations.
The Festival of Pacific Arts and Culture has kicked off spectacularly, celebrating the vibrant cultures of the Pacific with a dazzling display of heritage dance performances. This year's festival promises an unforgettable journey through the rich traditions and contemporary expressions of the Pacific Islands. The festival runs from June 11 to its grand finale on June 16, culminating in the Panina, the closing ceremony at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. Today showcased the Heritage Arts Program, a dynamic celebration of Pacific Island cultures. Over the next few days, artists and cultural practitioners will showcase their traditional and contemporary crafts through vibrant exhibitions, interactive workshops, and engaging daily shows, offering an immersive experience that highlights the rich tapestry of Pacific Island traditions. Papua New Guinea presented a vibrant traditional performance during the Heritage Arts Program, succeeded by engaging stage band performances by PNG's very own Anselm Band. Other Pacific delegates also delivered great performances as well. In the Performing Arts segment, Ho'ike renowned artists from various Pacific nations will captivate the audiences with traditional dances, music, and contemporary performances. The festival emphasizes cultural preservation, fostering dialogue and unity among diverse communities. The visual arts program Ho'ike Ki'i features a stunning fusion of drawing, painting prints, sculptures, photography, and multimedia presentations celebrating the evolving nature of Pacific art and offering cross-cultural experiences that underscore our shared humanity. Moana Nui Akea, the Pacific Conversations and Cultural Exchange, offers 3 days of enriching experiences. Highlights include keynote speeches, large group learning sessions, and panels on crucial topics like Pacific sovereignty and climate change. Additionally, the festival includes Nahana Pakui, symposia, workshops, masterclasses, and educational forums that delve into traditional crafts and cultural issues. These next few days will be an incredible celebration of Pacific heritage, and viewers around the world are encouraged to join in this vibrant cultural journey of FESPEC 2024.
The National Executive Council on Monday officially announced the appointment of Commodore Philip Polewara as Chief of the PNG Defence Force. The NEC has promoted Commodore Polewara to the rank of Rear Admiral and appointed him as the new Chief of the PNGDF. Colonel Larry Oppa was also promoted to the rank of Brigadier General and appointed as Deputy Chief of the Defence Force. Major General Mark Goyner's appointment as the Commander and Chief of the PNG Defence Force has been revoked by the National Executive Council, and he has been discharged from the PNGDF with the rank of Brigadier General. The bearing of the recent court decision that nullified the appointment of Major General Mark Goyner was one of the factors for the permanent appointment of the new Chief of Defence, besides the Commission of Inquiry report on the Kupiano training tragedy and non-performance of the former PNG Chief of Defence. Representing principal landowners of the Elk Antelope gas fields, representatives from 3 of the 13 clans from Petroleum Retention License 15 in Paiwaya Kikori Gulf Province today discussed the upcoming launch for the Papua LNG landowners Elk Antelope Gas Project Area Landowner Association Inc. on 4th July at the APEC House. The launch will signify the commitment of the landowners in their renewed attempts to maximize their opportunities within the multi-billion-dollar Papua LNG and Purari River hydro projects.
From 3 of the 13 clans of the PRL 15 outlined the significance of the upcoming launch of the Elk Antelope Gas Project Area Landowner Association Inc. on 4 July at the APEC House, Port Moresby. The clans will each send 2 representatives to Port Moresby to participate in the event. Jomo Peniai, a health worker from the Nemina clan, says the association, once launched, will actively be the voice of the people whose land this billion-dollar Papua LNG and Purari hydro projects are located.
And we represent our people. Our purpose here is to fight on behalf of people when the government is not doing what is right, or if the developer is not doing what is right, then we will fight for our rights as principal landowners.
So we will all the line place only one ballot association, because we like a one house man. And then one medicine will like come up this inside the houseman. So this houseman and Elk Association.
The representatives today emphasized the association will be the voice for the immediate and apparent need for basic government services that have failed to be delivered for many years. Their message is simple: to not leave them behind anymore. The Papua LNG project is operated by Total EP as operator. The project will see the development of the Elk and Antelope gas fields located in PRL 15 in the Gulf Province. The Elk and Antelope gas fields were first discovered in 2006 by Interoil. Maricela Kelleton, TVWAN News.
You're watching TVWAN News. After the break, journalists undergo soil science training, disaster center established, and building community empowered.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With With a delicious Milo and milk taste and added nutrients, Milo and milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Fine PNG made.
Open it.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SP Laga, Bunyamyumi.
Right across the nation, we eat snacks crackers. Emi trupla. All get a young planalapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here, no PNG, one time lay biscuit company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
Welcome back. 6 journalists were part of a group from Leh-based media who underwent a training on soils and food production at the National Agriculture Research Institute on Monday. Facilitated by Internews, soil scientists at NARI highlighted key critical issues of soil management, drought and resilience in an effort to help reporters when they are doing coverage on the environment.
6 journalists were part of a group of 11 staff from different media houses in Leh who participated in a one-day training on how to report on soils, drought, and food security in the face of climate change. The training, held on Monday, was facilitated by a non-profit media support organization called Internews in collaboration with Women in Media PNG and the National Agriculture Research Institute. Soil fertility issues and their causes were discussed, where it was outlined that soils vary across different regions and each soil has specific problems. Among the causes of soil fertility issues, it was highlighted that traditional shifting cultivation is unsustainable in soil nutrient management, and of course, the rapid increase in PNG's population growth rate, which has tripled in the last 3 decades. Soil scientist William Sirabis pointed out that while land is limited, the population keeps growing and the need to eat increases as well. This places an enormous strain on the land as people make gardens to feed their families and continuously use the same piece of land year in, year out. In the afternoon part of the session, the participants were taken to NARI's demonstration plots, where NARI's research technician, Martin Raurela, explained that they are currently simultaneously cultivating cassava and cowpea, called intercropping, in one of their trial plots, and compost is also added. Cowpea is a legume that has the ability to improve soil quality due to its nitrogen-fixing character. Kamala Guare, TVWAN News, Leh.
For proper and effective coordination of relief supplies for the Mulitaka landslide-affected communities, a centralized operations center has been established in Wabeg. With a lot of support in relief supplies flowing in from donor partners and agencies, the Enga Provincial Administration saw the need for a centralized operations center, including an on-site operations arm near the disaster site for proper management. The center, comprising volunteers and personnel from various donor agencies, government departments, UN bodies, Enga Provincial Health Authority, PNG Defence Force, Australian Defence Force, New Porgera Limited, and other entities, serves as the primary hub for all relief and emergency activities on the ground. Over 300 graduates from the International Training Institute's Leh campus have been encouraged to positively contribute to their respective communities. The 45th graduation ceremony, hosted at the Leh Secondary School's Multipurpose Hall on June 5th, saw 324 students graduate with certificates and diplomas under the theme Embrace Creativity and Innovation for Excellence. Officer in charge of the Leh Metropolitan Community Relations, Senior Inspector Kathy Rimbao, urged the graduates to be aware of the law and act accordingly. She encouraged them to make use of their tertiary qualifications and be upstanding citizens in their families and communities. Meantime, ITI will be offering 2 new courses in February 2025, a Diploma in Tourism and Hospitality Management and Diploma in Small and Medium Business Management. This will bring the total number of diploma courses on offer to 7. The Secretary for the Department of Community Development and Religion, Jerry Ubase, made a commitment of 1 million kina as an SME loan pack for mothers in the country to the Women's Microbank. This was announced during the National Research Institute Chairman's Seminar Series, Thursday, 6 June 2024, at the Medang Resort Hotel. The Women's Microbank, or Mama Bank as commonly known throughout Papua New Guinea, was first established in 2010 but later operated with a banking business license in 2014. Interestingly, Mama Bank is the first women's microbank in PNG and the Pacific region. During the final day of the seminar series, Monica Sariki from Medang branch gave an informative session on the bank's stance on developing a savings and finance culture. Ms. Sariki said even though the bank was specifically targeting women, men are invited to open a savings account and access the services on offer. Ms. Sariki said the services offered at the Women's Microbank aim to ensure that their members live sustainable lives. David Nogi, Provincial Coordinator of the Highlands Region from the Department of Community Development and Religion, said the 1 million kina SME loan pack announced by the Department's Secretary, Jerry Ubase, comes with tied processes, meaning MOUs will have to be signed with partnering agencies.
Criteria financial literacy, you must kisim Isla certificate, you must open an account on the main number. So this can be assessed through by way of MOU. With us and Women's Microbank or Mama Bank, with us and SMAC, with us and SEFI. One block organization for running financial literacy, it's huge.
Mr. Nogi also advised everyone undergoing financial literacy training to make sure their trainers and facilitating organizations are regulated and certified under the Bank of Papua New Guinea.
As long as the standard teaching material is recognized by PNG as the regulating. I'm certified also financial literacy. You kiss more financial literacy, nothing on man. You must check it first time. Is it certified? It has to be recognized, the training.
Director General for the National Youth Authority, Joe Itaki, encouraged participants to look at other government funding opportunities, especially women and the youth.
See if you can also beat long this government's SME package, give him long. Bank, mostly it goes to BSP. So how can Women's Microbank be a player in that space? So certain component of that to do with women, you can now pack him long. Mama Bank administrative. Then see how you can harmonize the requirements to access that for the rural women population.
Mr. Itaki said the number of unbanked people in the country is massive, while a huge amount of money
is circulating within the informal sector.
A big population of country that is unbanked. Plenty money is floating outside the informal sector space. So we need to bring it into the banking system, and then it contributes to the national development process. So money flow, all mama youth now stop inside, but the requirements are quite stringent. So I don't think most of the rural women, rural youth are eligible to benefit from Islam.
The National Fisheries Authority has donated a brand new ambulance valued at 300,000 kina to the Western Pacific University Health Center in Yelebu, Southern Highlands Province. Stephen Ponning, representing NFA, stressed the ambulance's role in saving lives by providing timely medical support. Dr. Janet Rangau, WPU's president, expressed gratitude for the donation, emphasizing the ambulance's importance in serving both the university and nearby communities. She urged locals to ensure the ambulance's upkeep, highlighting its role in transporting patients to main hospitals in Mendi or neighboring provinces. From the seminar series, the PNG National Research Institute is leading policy and development-orientated research institute that recognizes national development agendas, goes beyond its industry or sector department and agencies, and looks at the collective livelihoods of each citizen of PNG living in a safe and secure society and to have access to social and economic benefits.
The need for this seminar stems from the government realizing that the process of nationhood has resulted in a major shift in the social processes of communities, from close-knit traditional groups to a mixed and open society that has contributed to community fragmentation and displacement. Compounded by the problems of illiteracy, ignorance, disease, indolence, poverty, and lack of government services, these situations confronting communities can only be transformed or addressed through a concerted effort. The national government has endorsed the Medium-Term Development Plan 2023 to 2027. Additionally, the government also has objectives to deliver on the PNG Strategic Development Goals 2030 to 2050. The government has provided a vision for its people that by 2030, amongst other objectives, it would have a 200 billion kina economy, created 1 million jobs, established 500,000 SMEs, and improved the livelihoods of its people. The main objective of the seminar was to bring together the Department of Community Development, Family and Youth and its boards and agencies, and connect with development partners like the church, NGOs, international organizations, and community groups. There were updates provided to the government from selected development partners. The government partners were also updated on the MTDP4 and PNG SDP 2030 objectives and key initiatives of the ministry and department. Mr. Itaki encouraged all data collection and implementing agencies to cooperate and have a more profound outcome of each agenda.
And now to the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.2606 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our kina was buying $0.2531 $0.3801 Australian dollars, $0.2276 euro, and 39.47 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold and copper closed higher, coffee, cocoa, palm oil, and crude oil closed lower, and copper closed the day unchanged. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, and the ASX and all ordinaries closed lower. TVWAN News continues when we return with news making headlines abroad. Stay with us.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase easy pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSP branch today to register now for BSP Mobile Banking. BSP Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSP, our bank, our people.
Hiya, Mama. You wait then, but me add him special flavor.
Put in more flavor, put in more taste. Magical cuddle, get up and big smile on face. Time for Kim chicken, a great kumutu. Sip, sip, the moo, yes, magic on you.
Magic, the taste PNG loves.
All Mama Flame is story all same.
Me say you sing flame flower long one yem. Me say me Kim Kai Kai belong family belong me. You go more yet.
Man belong me say like him flower balls belong me what them kawa war na spring onion. All pikinini belong me say like him to mas pineapple donut me say work him lo house. Ne make kumu mix him what them cow na karamapim long flower.
Tasty hash browns.
Time is kelly one time all arapela Kai Kai. Me say kiss him more Kai Kai long all get a toya me tromoy one time flame flower.
You in a packing more one time flame flower.
Enjoy life when we work together, making happy memories that last forever. Harem talk young or roll a scale rice family meal with talk. We'll bring out the smiles cause it's a favorite by miles. Seni sigola scale rice low scale price. Seni sigola scale rice low scale price. But you like him?
Hardware House is more than just a store. It is where quality meets affordability, where culture is proudly celebrated. Spanning 9 provinces, we pride ourselves in offering top-notch customer support and services. We're more than just a store. We're more than a brand. We are Hardware House.
Welcome back. In regional news, the president of the United Liberation Movement for West Papua, Benny Wenda, has made a blunt assessment of the dire situation in West Papua. He says West Papuans are suffering from genocide and wants the world to support, claiming that over 500,000 people have been killed since Indonesia's occupation began in the 1960s. Wenda is concerned that for decades, Indonesia has hidden West Papua from the world through media blackouts, torture, and a ban on journalism. The movement calls for a liberated West Papua and independence. Organizers say political upheaval in France won't affect Olympics preparations after the French president labeled the rise of nationalism a danger to Europe, gambling on an early vote to re-establish his waning authority.
Morning after calling a snap election, the decision by French President Emmanuel Macron is hard to ignore and confusing for some Parisians.
There are surely complicated calculations behind it, and not necessarily very intelligent.
I find that it doesn't surprise me, so we'll see what happens next.
But with Paris on the world stage in just over a month, it has come as a surprise to others.
Dissolving the parliament so close to the Olympics was another blow. I am having a hard time to understand.
This is a democratic process that will not disrupt the Games.
Mr Macron made the announcement an hour after a bruising loss in the European Parliament election, with Marine Le Pen's far-right National Rally Party winning more than double the votes of Mr Macron's centrist alliance.
The people will make a decision, and if he ends up with a different majority, he won't have a choice but to cope with it.
The far-right made strides in the European election, but the pro-European parties at the centre have commanded a majority.
Together we will and can form a bastion against the extremes from the left and right.
As countries across the EU consider their gains and losses, Parliament has dissolved in France, giving candidates a swift 3 weeks to campaign.
Palau's new solar power plant, commissioned in June 2023, serves as a benchmark for other Pacific Island countries to seek clean energy funding support through public-private partnerships. The Asian Development Bank is excited that another Northern Pacific nation has signed up to consider PPP financing for renewable energy projects. With the support of the ADB, Palau undertook the largest solar power project to meet its national goal of 100% renewable energy by 2032. The ADB believes PPPs can develop the essential infrastructure in Pacific developing member countries and admits the greatest challenge is attracting partnerships. South Korea resumed broadcasting anti-North Korean propaganda through loudspeakers in retaliation for more than 1,000 trash and manure-filled balloons the North had sent over the last couple of weeks.
Military loudspeakers primed and ready to blare anti-Pyongyang propaganda and K-pop music towards North Korea. Seoul restarted the broadcasts over the weekend for the first time since 2015.
The measures we will take may be unbearable for the North Korean regime, but they will send a message of hope and light to the North's troops and its people.
The move can be traced to late May, when Pyongyang began sending balloons full of trash and manure towards the south. It says it was retaliation for balloons filled with anti-North leaflets and USBs flown by South Korean activists.
We once again gravely warn North Korea to immediately halt their inhuman, low-level and nasty activity which violates the armistice agreement.
In response, South Korea suspended a 2018 pact to reduce hostile acts along the border, allowing it to resume propaganda campaigns and possibly restart live-fire military exercises in border areas. South Koreans who live near the border in the town of Paju fear things could escalate again.
There is a sense of fear that North Korea might fire artillery towards this area and that their shells could come flying towards this place.
Last week, North Korea did stop sending the balloons, but activists in South Korea didn't. Pyongyang's garbage drops resumed, and now the South's loudspeakers are blaring again. It sparked an angry warning from Kim Yo-jong, the sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
If the Republic of Korea simultaneously carries out the leaflet scattering and loudspeaker broadcasting provocation over the border, it will undoubtedly witness the new counteraction of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
Locals in Paju are also critical of those sending balloons to the north.
The group who send the anti-North leaflets can leave, but we are the ones who end up dealing with the aftermath. What residents in Paju would like such actions that escalate tensions?
While North Korea has been firing off more ballistic missiles in recent weeks in a show of military might, for now there's no sign of live fire at the border. Just an exchange of trash and noise.
This year, 737 Australians have made the King's Birthday Honours list.
Standing up for her convictions may have led to a couple of arrests.
There you go.
But today, aged almost 80, Sister Jane Irene Keogh is being honoured for her service.
I got involved because I was angry. I was angry over Tampa and I wanted justice. I don't know where that came from. It's just something within me to stand up against unfairness. And that's where my motivation came for a lot of years.
The former school principal took practical actions to support detained asylum seekers.
I started going to Baxter and I went there many times. I'd travel down to Adelaide and stay a week or 2 weeks and I'd smuggle in SIM cards and get to know the guys.
She also began protesting, most notably getting herself arrested a decade ago after a prayer sit-in at then ACT Senator Zed Seselja's office.
I wasn't charged, but I was hoping I'd be charged because I thought, you know, you use what you've got. I thought none arrested might make a bit of a headline.
Former refugee Dr. Locke Lamb shares that commitment to supporting those who are vulnerable.
I came here in 1978 as a refugee and I know what's it like to go without and the struggle to live without anything.
She works with nursing home patients, hosts regular charity days and travels overseas to work in remote areas of Nepal and Vietnam.
We also give the staff an education on oral health. Why is it important to look after the teeth, and why is it important to take care of them before they get too bad.
On a different front line, Gregory Aldridge has dedicated his career to the scourge that is domestic violence.
I got into a lot of trouble when I was young. I had a probation officer when I was 16, and I found a good counsellor, and that was so helpful for me.
Now the CEO of Everyman, he works with perpetrators.
I think there's so many men who use violence who are capable of being reclaimed back into the community as men who can live without violence.
All three, along with 25 other Canberrans on the King's Birthday Honours list, will be formally recognised at a ceremony later in the year.
And that ends the news segment. Next up is sports with Tracy Parr. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Chef Jules Henow, and this is where my true inspiration for cooking started. Like most of us, I learned to cook from my mum. Nothing beats simple recipes where fresh local produce is at the heart, especially when it's a home-cooked meal, prepared and shared with the ones you love. And in PNG, no meal is complete without rice. And my choice is always True Guy. True Guy, true inspiration through generations.
The PNG LNG project has a positive and long-lasting impact on the whole country. Revenue is delivered through 5 streams. Equity distributions are paid to KPHL and MRDC based on the interest they hold. Tax is paid to IRC, while development levy and royalties are paid to DPE. For more information on direct and indirect benefits, visit PNG EITI's website.
We're underway right here. That's a brilliant kick. Oh, playing with fire. All the time in the world. He has drilled it. Finally finds a way to the try line. And boy, we got a contest tonight.
Welcome back. In sports, following weeks of speculation, the PNG Hunters hooker, it's been confirmed that Judah Rimbu has signed with British Super League club Hull FC. The British media Hull Live reported that the Hunters have agreed to a deal with the English Rugby League club and would join the club for next season. The duration of the deal reported to have signed is unknown at this stage, but the football club is looking long-term. Rimbu fits the bill.
Judah Rimbu's rise in rugby league is superb. He successfully transitioned from a halfback to hooker in the move that pays dividend and cemented his spot as PNG Hunters starting as a hooker. He also made his debut for the Kumuls in the Pacific Bowl Championship last year 2023, which the Kumuls won. His form in the Host Pass Cup competition is amongst the best in the competition, and his ability to dart from dummy half generating ruck speed is one of his strength areas and would prove critical for the Hull FC.
Shut down very close to the line. The Hunters are letting up towards the left. No, it's Rimu. The magic from dummy half. Rimu gets a hat-trick this afternoon.
Meanwhile, fellow PNG international Tri Stewart was amongst the club's early recruits for 2025 season. Both young Rimbo and Stewart would be part of the Hull FC in the English Super League next year. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
Kalahani's winger Hamos Kafare faces a 3-year suspension from the Digicel ExxonMobil Cup competition after pleading guilty to detrimental conduct on the field. Kafare will not participate in any sanctioned competition until after April 28, 2027.
Kafare was charged with detrimental conduct which involved him making a deliberate contact with a match official in a game against Kimbekata's early this season. The PNG National Rugby League competition judiciary handed down the penalty following a referral by the Match Review Committee. Pathways and Performance General Manager Tony Archer condemned the players' action, stating that the type of behavior towards match officials is serious and would not be tolerated. Meanwhile, the 2024 season has seen an increase in vigilance on foul play in the competition. In the first 8 rounds, over 60 players have been charged and suspended with various on-field offences. Archer said many of these incidents occur because of the tackling technique players are using. However, his team is working closely with clubs and players to improve this. We will continue to develop the skills of our coaches and players through education while still holding players responsible, says Archer. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
New Power Capital Rugby Union Women's Competition is progressing well with Week 5 matches done last weekend. The 10-team competition runs parallel with the Pepsi CRU Men's Competition. Matches are played on Sundays at the Port Moresby International School Sports Oval. It is anticipated that the under-20 girls will also participate in this year's competition starting next week.
CRU Women's Competition has been boosted in 2024 as a standalone competition with New Power Limited coming on board as major naming rights sponsor. The competition is aimed to encourage more young women and girls to come out and participate in the code of rugby being a global sport. Technical Officer Joanne Lapan said since the competition started in April-May this year, there's been some good women's rugby being played at the Port Moresby International School Oval on Sundays. Lapan said after 5 weeks, they have 13 weeks of competition left, with the under 20 girls also starting their competition shortly. She said they have scheduled 18 weeks of normal games, culminating in a top 3 prelim finals in August.
Well, the competition has been going well. This is our 5th round into the competition now. So now we have approximately 13 more rounds to go and 3 preliminary weekends. It is very good. So we have more young players joining us. So hopefully by next week we'll have the under-20s. We have a lot of under-20s, but the problem is the word hasn't been passed around. So yeah, most of the clubs did, but hopefully we have them next week to see up-and-coming rising stars. Yeah.
Since New Power Limited came on board to sponsor and support women rugby, Lapan said there's great interest building around the women's game, with 10 clubs competing for this year's title alongside defending queens, Harlequins, currently leading the competition with sisters in second spot.
Yes, they are. So they're sitting on the first place, the Harlequins, and second is sisters, so they're competing against each other now. Yeah.
With all the vibes around about women's rugby building, Lapan is again encouraging new clubs and more young girls to come forward and register and keep the spirit of women's rugby going, especially with the support of New Power being great advocates and promoters of inclusiveness in rugby and sport in general.
Yes, so we just have to spread the word around to all the other clubs. Just register your teams, and we can have more teams for next year. Yeah. I'd like to thank Pomis for allowing us to use their field, and to our major sponsor as well, New Power Manager. Thank you.
Terry Longwood, TVWAN Sports.
Former PNG international and Kalahani's protocol's son, UK-based Stanley Gene was back in the country, visiting family and friends in Goroka over the past 2 weeks. He left last Sunday. During his transit, Gene visited St. Joseph International Primary School in Port Moresby to talk to the kids about his new program called Gene Aspire. Gene Aspire targets young boys and girls in schools, settlements and villages. It involves his sharing of experiences of his incredible journey from a settlement kid to an icon in our game today.
Born in Goroka, Eastern Highlands Province, after playing in the 1995 Rugby League World Cup for Papua New Guinea, he was offered a contract to play for Hull Kingston Rovers in the old second division. After moving to the United Kingdom, Gene played for the Hull Kingston Rovers from 1996 to 2000. He scored 94 tries, 101 matches during the period and was a massive popular figure at the club. Story short, since Gene retired in 2008, his love and passion for the game continues to drive him to share the values and wealth of knowledge and experience that Rugby League has taught him with the next generation, especially his humble upbringing as a settlement kid, while the rest is history. Gene announced he's setting up his company Gene Aspire to teach life values, discipline and encourage the pursuit of education to children. He plans to return to Goroka to begin this mission, to encourage young boys and girls in the settlements to go to school and work hard for a better future.
It's time for me to get back home and do the things I've always wanted to do, is help the young people in the country. There's no better man to do it than somebody who lives in the settlement in Genoka, in Goroka, from nowhere to have a successful career in rugby, and not just rugby alone, in life experience. So came here, we've set up a company called Gene Aspire. We want to aspire a lot of young people, and it started from working into schools. Not just the schools. It's the settlements and the villages. There's some young people who can't afford to pay to go to school, so we got to go out there and spread the word as well. There's a lot of social issues around here with young people now. Time has changed. Time limit to play. You miss a play different. The junior respect the older ones, and now we don't see that. There's no house money in the villages, so there's quite a lot to look at.
The favorite son of Goroka was quite excited to be back home to see family while putting some finishing touches to his house, which he built 7 years ago before COVID. Terry Longwood, TVWAN Sports.
West Tigers Chief Executive Shane Richardson has declared the club will have $2 million of salary cap space to enter the player market next year if Prop Stefano Utaikamanu turns down a 5-year extension. The Tigers boss also sent a warning shot to rival NRL clubs eyeing bomb playmaker Lichel Galvin as he prepares to sit down with the teenager's family this week to convince them his future is at the joint venture club.
West Tigers Chief Executive Shane Richardson recently returned to Australia after a 2-week trip to the United Kingdom, where he tried to arrange deals with Super League clubs for some of the players the Tigers are willing to offload. Several players have been presented with offers but have yet to agree to the terms. During his trip away, the club tabled a 5-year, $4 million deal to Prop Stefano Utaikamanu in the hope of negotiating a state of origin and top 8 clause in his current contract that could result in him becoming a free agent in the coming weeks. Tigers are bracing for Utaikamanu's agent to request permission to negotiate with rival clubs if the prop forward misses out on state of origin selection in Game 2. More pressing is the future of Galvin, whose manager last week lodged the latest of many release attempts over the past few months. Tigers CEO said Galvin has got a contract. It's very simple. He's got 2 more years. Richardson insists the team's position at the foot of the ladder is where he expected them to be at this stage, given the lack of depth in the roster. However, he believes the arrival of Jerome Luai will be the circuit breaker. Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
This and the sports segment. Over to you, Carol.
Thank you, Tracy. And now we'll have the weather forecast for the main centers for the next 24 hours. Southern region, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms with areas of rain over Western Province, Gulf Province and Mille Bay Islands. Port Moresby, partly cloudy but mostly fine with possible afternoon showers. Momase, isolated showers and thunderstorms. Lae, mostly fine then partly cloudy with possible brief showers. New Guinea Islands, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms with areas of rain over New Island Province. Highlands, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms with areas of rain. Mendi, Tari and Wabeg, cloudy with some afternoon showers and possible thunderstorms. Ocean forecast. Coral Sea sees moderate to rough with southeast winds of 15 to 20 knots, increasing to 25 to 33 knots at times. Bismarck Sea sees slight to moderate along the southwestern sector. Coastal waters forecast. Waters of southern PNG and Indonesian border to Daru to Kiwai Islands to Kerma to Yule Island to Hood Point to Samurai Islands. Waters of Samurai Islands to Cape Vogel and all Milne Bay Islands, and waters of Cape Vogel to Huon Gulf to Finschhafen. Seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters, rising to 2 to 3 meters along morning areas. Waters of New Britain, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters, reaching 2 to 2.5 meters along the western parts. And that wraps up another edition of TV1 News. Thanks for your company. Bye for now.
The TV1 News was proudly brought to you by BSP, our bank, our people.